It's 1 week out from the Abingdon Marathon at time of recording. I'm going to talk about how I've been recovering since the injury, how it's impacted my training, and just generally how I've been doing since then, as well as current thoughts and feelings about the marathon itself, and a little bit about my plan for the day. Morning everyone. I guess the first thing to say is I'm feeling a lot brighter since my last video. I hope that wasn't too sort of downbeat because it was really hard, but yeah, since then I've been feeling so much better, and I've genuinely never turned an injury around that quickly. I've felt no pain in it at all since it happened, and I forgot to mention last time, but I had fantastic massage and dry needling from the wonderful Susie on the Sunday after it happened that week. She saw me, went out of her way to see me, and just did such a good job. And I genuinely think one of the reasons it moved along so quickly was that treatment. So I'm going to put a link to where you can find Susie, but just a huge thank you to you for helping me with that. But yeah, since then, you know, I went to the physio, was really cautious returning to running, really did what I was told, built my miles up gradually, and I have not had any pain in it since. That said, funnily enough, this morning I've woken up with a kind of sensation there. Not even calling it pain really, it's just an uncomfortable feeling in the place where I had the injury, which is obviously not good, but it's not bad. And also it's weirdly kind of validating because I turned it around so quickly. You know, you do start to think, oh God, did I just massively overreact, and have I just cut my training back for no reason, put myself at a disadvantage? But actually it is still there, which is I would rather it wasn't, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it wasn't all in my head. So very easy run today. If I start to feel any discomfort, I'm gonna stop. So if I suddenly change clothes, that's because I've picked this video up the next day. Current thoughts and feelings about Abingdon. It's a week tomorrow, and probably unsurprisingly, I'd say at best it's just a bit of a roller coaster mentally. Physically, I feel really good. You know, I've missed some of the training, I've missed, you know, some of the benefits that I would have got if I didn't get injured and was able to do the plan the entire way. But standing here today, running here today, I feel incredibly fit and strong, like fitter and stronger than I've ever felt. So physically, I don't think I can complain. I don't think there's anything more I could have practically done without, you know, destroying my life, to gain any more strength or fitness over the last 18 weeks. So that I think I should just tick off and be proud of, and know that my body is exactly where it should be, or exactly where I could have got it to. So I'm really proud of that. Mentally, a bit different. I'm going through phases of imposter syndrome, feeling embarrassed and stupid. Just gonna be really honest, because I don't know, I think you should, but like why have I shared my goal with everyone? I don't know if some people think I'm nowhere near that, and you know, what am I doing? Where am I getting all this from? And I'm worried about proving them right. Obviously loads of that is ego, right? Because it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks and yada yada. But I don't know, we're only human, and I just, yeah, worry about getting it really, really wrong and being absolutely miles off. And I was saying to Nick the other day, one of the reasons I think that I worry about that is because it has happened to me before. So I didn't really know what I was doing compared to now. But years ago, I ran the Manchester Marathon and I wanted sub 4 and I got 4:29, and that was like a body blow, you know. That was like, oh, like what have I done? How has that happened? I was mortified, really embarrassed, felt stupid, you know. It took a while to sort of mentally recover from that. And so I'm like, could the same thing happen here? I'm going for 3:30, but I end up with 4 if I'm lucky. And you know, practicing gratitude, sub 4 marathon is incredible, and getting through the plan is incredible, running a marathon is incredible, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm sure loads of people watching this can relate to how that might feel, and it's not very good. So lots of that going on, but then I have had windows where I'm just like, I could run 8-minute miles all day. Like, it's comfortable, it's you know, challengingly comfortable, as I'm told marathon pace is supposed to feel. And I'm stronger than I've ever been, I'm fitter than I've ever been. I'm gonna go and run 8-minute miles fairly comfortably for a really long time, and that's what's gonna happen. And I'm visualizing that in certain periods. So I've really, in this last week, I've got to tap into that now and really start to channel that, because with me, as I'm sure it is with loads of people, the negative is the more dominant one. That's the one that's going to take over if you just kind of, you know, if you're just left to your own devices. So I'm going to really try some exercises this week, some techniques to, you know, believe, like help me believe that I can do it. Because I do think, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right, okay? So I've really got to believe and decide that that's what I'm going to do. So on the day, I'm going to set off at around 8-minute miles, anything from like 7:55 to 8:10, even 8:15 in the first mile or two. I really don't want to go off too quick. I know, I believe that there is a scenario where I can run 8-minute miles for the whole marathon, and I'm going to try everything in my power to visualize and believe that that is possible. I'm going to keep control, I'm going to not go off too quick and run 8-minute miles for the entire marathon and do 3:30, give or take, depending how long the course comes up, right? Believe that. But I'm also prepared for a world that doesn't happen. At that point, my plan is to maintain effort. So I'm going to run the same effort I've been running when I was doing 8-minute miles for the remainder of the race. Whatever the time on the clock or the watch actually says, I'm going to be running 8-minute mile effort for the entire marathon. One of my big goals is to not walk. I've never not walked in a marathon. So I would love, even if I'm shuffling along at the end, 12-minute miles, to say I haven't walked will be huge. That will be a huge achievement. So I'm really determined to do that. So that's the physical strategy. Now the mental strategy, because for lots of people, lovely horse, for lots of people, and I'm not saying especially me, but very much for me, the marathon is, I do know, I'd even say 90% in your head. I am a quitter. I give up when things get hard. I'm really prone to it, beating myself up. So I need a mental strategy rather than just the 8-minute miles and see how it goes. So the first thing I have up my sleeve are mantras. So I'm really prone to daydreaming, and research shows that when our brains are left to our own devices, they err to a negative. So you'll start, even without realizing it, finding things that are going wrong, finding things to worry about. So I have mantras that I repeat in my head that just keep it focused and keep it in a good way monotonous, because you don't want random stuff coming into your head, you know? So I've got some things I repeat over and over in my head that remind me how strong I am, that what I'm doing is really natural. We're born to run as humans, and that's really cool, what cool thing to be a part of. So lots of stuff stocked up, ready to go on that. So along with my mantras, I'm gonna break the marathon up into quarters in my head. You've also got things like water stations, times when you're gonna have gels and stuff, and you can break it up that way. I'm gonna mainly break it up into quarters, and my mantras will likely adapt as I go through those quarters, depending on what I'm asking of myself. And another technique that I'm shamelessly pinching from somewhere else, but it's to sort of give them a colour, and I really relate to that, like visualising a colour with a certain energy and a certain feeling, I think could be quite helpful. So my first quarter is green, and the green quarter is, this is your bread and butter. You're running 8-minute miles for 10k or so, sort of 6-7 miles. This is easy, get in your flow, and also really capitalising on that positive energy where, wow, this feels great, what could possibly go wrong? Like really harness that and use mantras that kind of affirm how strong and comfortable I feel in that first quarter. The second quarter is orange, and that's where I just want to start paying a bit more attention to the work that I'm doing. I'm gonna need to lock in a bit and sort of mentally and physically prepare for, you've guessed it, the hardest quarters, 3 and 4. So quarter 2 really is kind of a build-up and a preparation for what's to come, but in a positive way. So not like, oh God, what's about to happen, but right, get ready. You're ready for this, you know, bring it on. The third quarter, this is where I'm departing from the traditional method I've heard. The third quarter for other people is red. I don't want to visualise red, that just feels horrible. I'm going opposite, and I'm going to make it blue. The reason I've heard someone describe that third quarter as red is because it's like war, and this is where you're going to fight. I just can't really tune into that. Personally, I think it will really get me down. So for me, I'm going blue because I almost want to think of that quarter as like the sea. It's almost like it's still hard and formidable, but it's also sort of cooling and refreshing, and like I kind of want to pendulum, like I want to counteract the very much red thoughts and feelings I'll be having with images of serenity. I don't know if that's the right word, but like calm, but a vastness and a bigness that is, you know, bigger than you and challenging, but ultimately calming. Also wanted to channel a little bit of when you do, I've never done this, but I've read about when people walk over hot coals and stuff. They spend hours before that chanting things like, you know, cool moths, and like channeling images of stuff that actually feels really nice and cold, and, you know, the opposite of what they're about to feel. So yeah, I think it's sort of not for me about denial and not accepting reality, because I don't believe in that either, but there's something about, for me, balancing out the emotions I'm going to feel. Anyway, that's how I'm approaching the third blue quarter. So the final quarter, and this is back to the original version of this, is like a yellow, like a golden yellow, like the sun. And I guess, I don't know if it's cheesy, but it's like running into that beautiful light, and, you know, all of the really brilliant feelings of the finish line, and just charging towards it. So yeah, all my kind of mantras at that point will be that I can do it, that it's done, and that I just need to keep going into the light without dying. The good finish line light and all the brilliant feelings and emotions that are waiting for me there. Those are my 4 quarters of the marathon and how I will break it up. Okay, in terms of nutrition, I'm going to carb load the couple of days before, and especially the day before. I won't go into detail of that here, but it's pretty much what you'd expect. The morning of the race, I'm not gonna have any calories in the 2 hours leading up to it. So I'll have 2 bits of white bread, toast with strawberry jam, no butter, and I'll have that before 7 a.m. So I'll get that down me, and anything else that I'm gonna have that morning, depends when I wake up in the middle of the night and stuff, but like, yeah, that's essentially it for the morning. And then in the race, I need to have about 55 grams of carbs per hour. So my gels, the SAS Beta Fuel, are 40 grams of carbs. So I'm basically having one of those every 45 minutes. But I'm gonna kind of preload a little bit by taking one 15 minutes in, and then one 45 minutes after that, and then every 45 minutes for the rest of the race. Water at every water station, 3 to 4 swigs. Water stations are every 5k. They're in cups, which everyone knows makes it really hard to drink out of a cup in a marathon or in any race, but just gonna have to deal with that. Nick is gonna spectate quite a few times, so I might give him some bottles and actually just have a couple of water bottles out there. So, in summary, the calf is feeling good, and I'm just over 4 miles into my 6 mile easy run now. I can't feel it at all, so I'm really pleased with that. Incredibly grateful to everyone who has helped my injury move along. Susie, Kev, my PT, my physio, Jay, and yeah, everyone for your messages and support is just brilliant, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, the next time I see you will be in Abingdon, which is wild, but I'll see you there.